over the city. And of course they were pulled down, so now we've got the knight, the mayor and the mason. Now on the right hand side, behind all these houses, we've got the medieval wall, and it's built immediately in front of the Roman fortress wall. So we know exactly how big the fortress was, and that was 50 acres. This is Gillygate, and this is named after the Chapel of St Giles, a leper hospital outside the city wall, can you see? And it stood where the Salvation Army Citadel is, on the left hand side there. There's no medieval houses here. We knocked them all down in the 1640s, the Civil War, because we didn't want Cromwell to get too near our wall. So the earliest ones are Georgian. Can you see all these bricked up windows? Particularly there's a lot on the right hand side here. That's right, that was the window tax. You were taxed on the number of windows you had. Right up to the 1850s actually, right? If you couldn't afford to pay, they blocked it up for you, or you could block one up yourself. And that's where we get the saying, daylight robbery. Robbered as the daylight, you see. That's true. Now this is Lord Mayor's Walk, but look right. That's the best part of the, or what's left of the moat you're going to see. The big tower you can see is Robin Hood's Tower. The Roman fortress wall of the back is here, but it's still standing to 12 feet, it's below ground, so it's hidden. On the other side, you've got the minster, and that's the 5th church building on that site. The first church building would have been a little wooden hut in 627, and that's when the Northumbrian King Edwin married the Kentish princess Ethelberga, and she was a Saxon and she was a Christian. So that's how it became to have a minster up there. Where the scaffolding is, the Great East Window, 192 square metres of medieval glass. That's the largest in the world. Now look to the right. Can you see the wild men of York over the roof, hurling stones? Anybody trying to get in? If you did the walk, that's where you come off. You're straight back into the city centre. So we've had the Romans, they called us Eberlachen. We've had the Saxons, they called us Eorfari. And in 866, we got the Vikings. They called us York. They doubled the size of the city and made us the most important inland port in Northern Europe. But England was fragmented there, different little kingdoms. The last Viking king of York, which the Saxons chased away, was Eric Bloodaxe. This was in the middle of the 900s. In 1066, the Viking king of Norway, Hardrada, wanted Northumbria back. He landed, he sacked the city of York, but he carried on to Stamford Bridge. He didn't think Harold could get there in Saxon Bridge as fast as he did. Harold pulled them all asleep, all drunk, no armour. After 300 Viking ships, 30 sailed home. But while Harold is up here, William of Normandy is waiting for the wind to change, and it did. He invaded the south of England. Harold had to march his army round for a 3-week force march all the way back to the Battle of Hastings, and of course he was killed with an arrow in his eye and a sword thrust. It took 2 years, the Normans, to get up here, built a castle and left. Well, we weren't having that, we burnt it down. The next year he came up, built another castle opposite, put a chain across to keep us in the city. He set fire to the city, even the Saxon minster. But he wasn't satisfied with that. Between York and Newcastle, every man, woman, child, cat, dog, pig, horse, sheep, whatever lived, was massacred. There wasn't a house lived in between York, Durham, Newcastle. Over 100,000 Saxons were killed. He even poured salt on the fields, so nothing grew for 9 years. And that was called the harrying of the north, and that's how the Normans conquered the north of England. 100,000. And that's a huge number of people in those days. Another thing he did, he dammed the foss by the castle. He needed big defences for these castles, and he made the moat. He used the water to make a moat. So we never had a wall in this part in front of us. You've got to get off there, which was a lane called Boston on the right, and walk right down in front until you get to the Red Tower, and then it starts again. Didn't need a wall, you see, this huge lake. He filled it full of fish for his garrison, and it's still called the King's Fish Pool. But quickly look to the right, St Cuthbert's Church. Can you see that little door? That's the Devil Door. Take a baby to be baptised through the large porch. You know, are you getting off here? This pastor is getting off. Sorry? Jorvik, no, you don't want to get off here for the Viking Centre. Change of plan. That's the Devil Door. So as soon as the holy water hits the child, most babies cry. They thought that was the devil running out the child. So there was a man on that door, and he opened the door when the baby cried to let the devil out, then shut it quick so he couldn't get back in again. And that's what that little door was. An archaeological dig on the left there. There was a very old church there, and they're excavating the churchyard. The biggest dig we've had for 25 years was over this hoarding on the left. They found 25,000 artifacts there. There's a row, in fact, there is